My name is Pastor Hal York. Welcome to Truth in the Trenches. Today we're going to be in Proverbs chapter 29, verse 1. He who is often reproved yet stiffens his neck will suddenly be broken beyond healing. We probably all heard the phrase. I heard it quite a bit growing up. After I had been given some instruction by my father or my grandfather or somebody, they would often say, a word to the wise is sufficient. He who often gets such a warning is the subject of this verse. This person is often reproved, often spoken to, often warned about the consequences of certain behavior over and over and over again. But every warning just makes him dig his heels in even harder. Stiffens his neck. It's a term that refers to the rebellious fool who will not listen. Stiffens his neck. He determines to go his own way. He ignores the warnings, ignores the pleas from loved ones, maybe a parent, maybe a spouse, a friend, or a teacher. Stop before it's too late. But he stiffens his neck. Why? Because he thinks he knows best. It may have happened to others, but it won't happen to me. I can play with fire and not get burned. I can play around with drugs and not get addicted. I can thumb my nose at authority and get away with breaking the laws. I can keep running the red lights morally, ethically, spiritually, and nothing is going to happen to me. I'll be fine. Those people who got caught were foolish. I know what I'm doing. This person thinks they're invincible. They go on in their rebellion, their foolishness, and arrogance. Defiant, proud. Their favorite movie, no doubt, is The Untouchables, because that's how they see themselves. And they seem sometimes to be doing okay. They seem to be getting away with it, maybe even prospering, successful. Yes, they built their riches and success on deceit and lies, but hey, it's working. Life is good. They mock those who warned them. They mock Scripture. They mock God with their self-righteous attitudes, living it up on top of the world. But there's a very ominous word in this verse, and it's the word suddenly. Out of nowhere, suddenly it all comes crashing down. Suddenly it's all over. Suddenly the cops are at the door. Suddenly your boss says you're fired. Suddenly your spouse walks out on you and is not coming back. Suddenly you have an accident and you're never the same again. If you've ever been fishing, you know that fish are not caught little by little. They are lured or enticed to the lure. They see it, they taste it, and then suddenly the fisherman yanks the pole. The hook is set, and dinner is served. A mouse trap works on the same principle. They see the cheese, they step on the trap, and suddenly, without warning, it's all over. Suddenly, it's a very ominous word. Ecclesiastes 9:12 says this, Moreover, man does not know his time, like fish caught in a treacherous net and birds trapped in a snare. So the sons of men are ensnared at an evil time when it suddenly falls on them. There's that word again, suddenly. The consequences of sin, of rebellion, ignoring counsel and advice can appear harmless. But over and over again, Proverbs reminds us actions have consequences. Persistent rebellion often has consequences that come unannounced, unexpected, unforeseen. And suddenly it's too late to stop. Suddenly it's too late to hit the brakes. Suddenly it's too late to change your mind. The die has been cast. The trap has been sprung. And it's too late. But that's not all this verse says. It says, suddenly beyond healing. This is a person warned and warned and warned, ignored the warning, rebelled against those trying to help, doubles down on their rebellious attitude, and they suddenly find themselves in a situation there's no way out of. No one can help you. Proverbs warns about this at the very beginning of the chapter. In chapter 1, you can read that, the last part of the chapter. Proverbs chapter 7 reminds us of this young man. He's taken a bag of money with him. At the full moon, he will come home with her many persuasions. She entices him, talking about the affair or immorality. With her flattering lips, she seduces him. Suddenly, he follows her. And as an ox goes to the slaughter, as one fetters to the discipline of a fool. Suddenly. Proverbs 24:22. For their calamity will rise suddenly. And who knows the ruin that comes from both of them. 1 Thessalonians 5:3 talks about the last days when they are saying peace and safety, then destruction will come upon them suddenly, like labor pains upon a woman and child, and they will not escape. So this hard-hearted, persistent rebellion can result in sudden, lifelong consequences. It could be prison, unable to get a good job, or the loss of a job, the loss of family, the loss of health, spending the rest of your life in a wheelchair, and on and on and on we could go about lifelong consequences that come upon us suddenly because of foolishness and foolish choices that we make in life. God can still save. God can forgive. But forgiveness does not eliminate all consequences of sinful behavior. If you're saved in jail, you still remain in jail. If you lost your family and you ask God for forgiveness and He saves you, your family's still gone. Or maybe you did something foolish and had an accident because you were drunk driving or whatever, and now you're in a wheelchair. Or you abused your body through drugs and all the other lots of other things, and your physical body's beginning to break down, and you can get saved. But your body doesn't automatically get new life in your body. You're going to have to live with the consequences of your behavior. It doesn't go away because you get saved. The remedy will come one day in heaven, but not here in this lifetime. You're beyond healing in that sense. But it can also refer to life-ending consequences. Suddenly life can end, just as suddenly as it can change. Life can end. It could be through a gunshot, an overdose, an accident. But now the consequences are eternal. There is no help. There's no more hope. The reproofs will stop, yes, but judgment is all that awaits. And suddenly, it's a very haunting word. Think about it. I never saw that coming. People say that all the time. Why? Because fools see what they want to see. They're driven by lust and desire. The end is swift and certain. And if this is describing you, listen. Proverbs 1 says, "Turn at my reproof." A word to the wise is sufficient. He who often reproved, yet stiffens his neck, will suddenly be broken beyond healing. May we walk with a heart of wisdom. So may this truth guide us and guard us in the trenches of life as we seek to live our lives for the glory of God and the good of others. May God bless.